Stay tuned for another episode of the Coming Soon podcast with Spider.
Hey everybody, Spider here once again, Coming Soon podcast coming to you from San Antonio, Texas with my guest, not
Hi.
in Texas. You're actually across the pond, as they say. Meghan Adara, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm from the UK, specifically Brighton. So yeah, I'm excited.
And I thank you for jumping on this. I know we have a time difference, but I've
Yeah.
been wanting to get you on here. I mean, of course, an actress. I mean, you've been doing a lot of work when it comes to
Mhm.
TV
Yeah.
films,
Yeah.
and particularly this film that you're working on now called The
Yeah.
Cellar. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So The Cellar is a sci-fi psychological thriller. It follows the lead character who I play, Abigail, who joins a church congregation. But unbeknownst to her, it turns out that it's a cult. And some things happen, and she has to escape from the cellar, which is obviously why the film is called The Cellar. And basically, it follows her journey through discovering that she's locked in the cellar and having to get out because she knows that she's in like immense danger. So it's very tense, but it's a lot of fun. And shooting it has been really great, working with everyone. And getting to work with Jamie again has been really fun as well. So yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, I've been following you guys for a minute. I'm actually partaking a little bit, helping you guys make this film a reality.
Thank you.
Um, with the experience that you've had, I mean, of course,
Mhm.
these movie roles,
Yeah.
you got to research them. I mean, of course, you've already worked with Jamie, so were you kind
Mhm.
of like in it already? Like once he mentioned the film itself.
Yeah, so I've done quite a lot of like films and TV things. This is my first lead in a feature film, which is kind of daunting, but at the same time, it's really exciting. And I feel like the pressure has been taken off because obviously I know Jamie, we've worked together before. So we have like this trust of what each other are able to do. Um, and Jamie's just such like a lovely person to work with. Everything that we've worked on before is actor and actor, so we like play characters in the same film. So seeing him in a different role is really interesting, and he's like done it so well. And yeah, I was just so excited to become part of the film, and finding out that I was the lead role in the film was like, oh my god, like thank you so much. So yeah, it's been a really fun journey, and I'm really excited for everyone to see it.
No, yeah, because and I was going to bring that up because it is your first
Mm,
lead role. I mean,
yeah.
of course, this is something that you were working towards. So, I mean, when it happened, was it kind of like, okay, like here it is, you know?
Uh, kind-ish. So the film was meant to start off as a short film.
Right.
Um, so Jamie got in contact with me and was like, "Hey, I've written this script. I'm going to be making a film. I was wondering if you were interested." And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Obviously, we've worked together before. Thought it was a great opportunity." So I read the script and I really liked it. And obviously, it was a short script, so it was meant to be a short film.
Right.
And then we were meant to film the short film as like a proof of concept and then get people to like obviously come on board and get a bigger budget and then make a feature film. So that's how it was meant to work. And then it kind of just like slowly turned into this feature film without actually being like, oh, okay, so we're actually going to be scrapping doing the proof of concept and we're going to do a feature now. So it kind of happened like slowly, but kind of quicker than what I expected. Um, but yeah, when he got in contact with me, he didn't actually like specify what character I would be playing. So I
Right.
said to him, "Oh, I'm assuming I'm going to be doing the opening scene," and he was like, "Oh, no, I want you to play the lead role." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, like 100%." Um, so yeah, it was kind of like this, like I kind of felt like from my perspective, like I didn't think I was worthy of doing a lead role, but having like obviously worked with him before, I think he saw that I was able to carry the lead role in the film. So yeah, it kind of came out of the blue with like, no, like, warning, basically, which I think is nice. And being able to do the lead role with Jamie, as I said earlier, has taken the like pressure off. And yeah, he's just made it really fun. So yeah.
No, you see, and that's another thing too, because I mean, when it comes to you guys already working together, I mean, you guys are comfortable. I mean, you know, you can trust them, vice versa. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, having a lead role, you know, that's a
Mm.
little bit more commitment. But I mean,
Yes.
was that an issue with you? I mean, were you kind of like, okay, well, as long as we can, did you all have to situate that after the fact?
So even though I have like other projects coming up, this was like at the beginning of this year. So all my other projects are either filming next month and months like later in the year. So I knew that I had time to do it. And usually with projects they ask for your availability. So I was just like said to Jamie, like, give me like the dates that you want to do just to make sure I'm not like, clashing with other work. And then obviously I like let them know that I've got other projects going on, and to let me know like what dates they're planning on filming, obviously to make sure I don't clash with that as well. So yeah, it hasn't been like hard with like scheduling my time, because usually the directors and everyone works around the availability of the cast, because obviously they need to get everyone together. So in that respect, it's been quite easy to like schedule. So yeah.
Well, and let me ask you because you just mentioned right now that you're going to be working like, are you going to be working somewhere else other than the UK?
No.
Oh,
But I am doing a feature film. I can't say too much because I've got to
right.
sign some documents. But I will be. It's a film set in Chicago. So although we're not going to Chicago because obviously the budget would be like insane, he's like got contacts with people from Chicago and everything. So he's just organising it all right now to make it look as much like Chicago as possible. Yeah. So it's probably going to be very difficult, but I'm up for the challenge.
No, you see, and one of the things, I mean, when it comes to being an actor, I mean, of course, not so much working out of the UK because I'm sure you know you can make a career out of it over there as well.
Mm.
But you know, coming to the US, would that be an accomplishment within itself, like for you to be able to break out here as well?
Yes, like that's what I'm working towards. 'Cause obviously, like you guys have like all like the big like TV series, all the like the big like feature films, and like even though it's starting to like happen in the UK, like most of the majority of like big work is obviously United States. Um, so I do have an agent, and they do put me up for work, obviously in like different countries. I just haven't managed to get to do a big budget like film in the United States yet, which I really want to do because I think it would like be really fun, and it'd be like such an like inexperience, and I think it would be a complete eye opener as well, going from a UK production to an overseas production. Um, so yeah, that is something I definitely want to do. But yeah, most of my work at the moment is UK based, but hopefully soon. Yeah.
No, no, for sure. You see, because I am in San Antonio, Texas. Do you
Mm.
know where Texas is at, by any chance?
I'm not very good with geography, I won't lie.
I don't even know where I'm at. Honestly, you know, I'll say that much. But the only reason I'm saying that is because, like here in San Antonio, like we've been getting a lot of people from California moving over here.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, because of that, a lot of the series, a lot of the shows, they're next door, like an hour away in
Oh,
Austin.
wow.
So there's
Yeah.
a lot of opportunities right now, and that's
Mm,
kind of what I'm, you know, kind of trying to go around as well myself. But for somebody like yourself that's actually
mhm,
doing this to do it, you know, that yeah, it makes sense, you know, to come out here and
mm,
you know, get your foot in the door and just have that breakthrough role where, you know, you can.
100%. Yeah.
But now let me ask you, as far as your upbringing when it comes to
Yeah.
theater, what was
Mhm.
it that introduced you to acting growing up?
So it's actually a friend of mine. I'd always had like interest in performance. I used to put on like little like shows with like my friend, and we used to like make a little theatre show or like a little dance, and then we'd perform it to our parents. But to be honest, I didn't really know that it was like a real career, if you
Right.
know what I mean. I just thought it was like this little bit of fun. But she actually one day I was over at her house and they were going to drop me home, and she was going to her like theatre group, and she said to me, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. Why would I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that." And she was like, "But you love performance, like you love acting." I was like, "Yeah, like to like you and like family members, but not to like other people." Because I was like quite shy. I mean, I am still quite shy, but I was like really shy when I was younger. So eventually she like got me to go along, and it was like a trial session. So if I didn't like it, I didn't have to go back. But I ended up really enjoying it, and I ended up becoming a member, going each week. And then from that theatre group, we did like little like Christmas shows or like Halloween like performances, like just to your like friends and family. So I got in it through that way. And then I ended up taking drama as GCSE. And then from there, I went to college and studied acting. And then from college, I went to drama school. So it was basically my friend that got me to actually pursue doing a drama group and igniting that spark of acting to do it in a professional, capacity. Yeah.
No, yeah, let me ask you because you were saying, I mean, you're so shy yourself. Could you? How do you work around that? I mean, because obviously, they're like, lights, camera, action. The camera's on.
Mm.
You kind of like go outside the, yourself. I mean, how do you go around
Yeah.
doing that?
So I tend to go for roles that I connect with, like dramas and like horrors. I like to play the characters that are like going through some sort of like emotional like turmoil. I just find that I connect with them really well. And I find them really challenging as well. So I really like enjoy the process. Um, so once like because I find myself in the characters as well. Just like
Right.
finding what, you know, even though they're different to you, there's got to be a part of you that is similar for you to understand what the character's going through. But the moment that I'm on the set, like I turn up and I'm like super shy and I'm super nervous and I'm like, oh God, like everyone's going to think I'm really bad. And then the moment the cameras and everything's rolling, I like completely forget about everyone else and I'm just in that like scene, in that character, and I don't think about anything else until they shout cut, and then I'm back. It's a really, I know it sounds really weird, but it is like, I think it's because obviously the whole point of making a film is to get you into that world,
Right.
and obviously when people are watching it, you've created that world. And I think once you've stepped into that set and all the set designers and everyone who, all the crew that make this film, it's not just when you watch the film that you're in it. Like once you're on that set in those environments, you are in that world. So I feel like it really helps to immerse yourself. Once they say action, you are in it. So yeah, I don't think about anything the moment they say action until cut. Yeah, just it's
You
really
see,
weird.
and that's the same thing. For myself, I do a lot of media. I'm
Mm,
real shy when it comes to. I don't like being around a lot of people. When it comes to crowds,
yeah.
I cover a lot of combat sports like MMA, boxing, kickboxing. So when I'm out there, I'm
Mm,
cage side, and I always tell people I feel comfortable because I'm shooting the photos or doing videos. So I kind of feel like I'm
mm,
behind the lens, like nobody can see me. So I zone out.
yeah,
And I kind of imagine it's kind of like that, like you said. You kind of have to zone out and zone in
yeah,
and get in character. So that's pretty cool. Has
yeah.
it gotten better?
Yeah, when I first started, it was kind of like, I'm going to give it a go. If it doesn't go anywhere, like, I'll just stop and go get what people call a real job. Um, and then I started to like, obviously, from the more films I did, from the more networking I did, the more roles I got. Um, and actually, like, talking to other people who have more experience with that in the industry and talking to them about their process and talking about like your anxieties and everything. I think that really helped to know that you're in the same boat as them and it's not just you who feels like out of place. Like it is a thing that happens with most actors. You always feel like you're not, you're like a fish out of water. But I do feel like the adrenaline once you're on set really kicks in. So I think that helps with lowering those anxieties, and obviously everyone else is there to do a job and they're all there to do the same thing. Even if you feel like they are judging you, they're not. Half the time they're not even focusing on you, they're more worried about the lighting or like if the camera's in focus. So you can get in your head, but I feel like, you know, once you've done that first scene or first take, those anxieties do start to come down, and you end up really enjoying the process as well.
No, yeah, I mean, because there is so much going on, like you said. I mean, you know, the cast, you know, they have
Mm.
the people working the sound, the camera. So I'm pretty sure it's chaotic when you
Yeah.
guys are shooting a scene. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, but that's great though. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, you know, I am in Texas.
Mm.
There's so much, you know, here locally, you know, as far as you know, local indie film. But a lot of
Mm.
times, one thing I realized is with the directors and writers, they kind of keep that same circle.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part, is because, like you said earlier, you know, they know how you work, you know, as
Mm.
far as your work ethic. Like, okay, I know she's reliable, like, you know, vice versa.
Mm.
So I can understand why they keep their circles like that.
Mm.
Now, right now, you're still, you know, you're doing this, you're acting, you're trying to get that breakthrough movie. This
Yes.
one itself, I gotta say, I mean, it's got a theatrical type feel. Like I watched the
Yeah.
I'm looking at the photos and I'm
Mm.
watching the film, the trailer, and I'm thinking, man, you know what? This is like made for theater. I mean, I like it. It's intriguing. It's
Mm.
captivating. It's suspense when it comes to the photos themselves. You know, tell a story.
Yeah.
For yourself, are you a fan of movies like this? I mean, when you go home, are you like, okay, you know what? Let me watch a horror movie, or let me watch something like this? Is that kind of how it works for you?
Yeah, I mean, I love horror. I can't say what my favorite horror film is because I've watched so many,
Yeah.
but I absolutely love them. I'm that type of person who's like, "Oh my God, I really wanna watch a horror film," and then I sit down and I watch it, and then before I go to bed, I can't sleep because I just think about that, like, horrible, like, character, like, clown or something is gonna, like, actually come into my real life, and I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be there. But I really like how, like, tense it makes me feel. Um, and again, obviously the characters, I connect with the character as well. So yeah, horror's always been, like, a genre that I've loved. Um, so yeah, I think that's the reason why I, like, really enjoy making horrors because obviously I love watching horrors too. So yeah.
No, well, let me ask you too. I mean, of
Mhm.
course, you talked earlier as far as your friend introducing you, as far as acting, right? Getting into
Yeah.
per- performances. But do you have someone that you've looked up to, like since those years? I mean, as far as an actor or somebody that you were like, oh, okay, you know what, I want to do what they're doing, or is there an
Mm.
actor out there?
Yeah, so, Jodie Comer and, um, also oh my god, I can't remember her name now. That's so bad. Jodie
Little.
Comer and, um, oh my god, that's really bad. I can't remember her name. Um, that's really terrible. She's in, Free Guy and she's in Killing Eve. Jodie no, it's not coming. I can't remember her name. That's really bad.
It'll come. It'll come.
Yeah.
And the
But
reason,
anyway, yeah.
yeah, the reason I'm
So
asking that is, would something like, say, you know, a year from now, 2 years, I mean,
mm,
however long it takes, would working with them be somewhat of a treat? Like, say later on, they're like,
yeah,
hey, you know what, there's this movie and there's actors or
yeah.
actors on there. Would that be something you'd be looking to do?
I have remembered her name, Jodie Comer and Saran Jones.
There you go.
When I grew up, that was like I watched them like religiously. And even before my friends started introducing me to like theatre groups and stuff, I remember sitting there being really inspired and like getting this like little like niggling feeling of like, I want to do that. Like I want to be like that. That I think that's something that I would like enjoy doing. Um, and yeah, I feel like for my like process as an actor, like getting into characters and stuff, what they in their interviews, like what they talk about, like some of the things that they do, like I've incorporated into my process. Um, so yeah, I've always looked up to them, and to be able to work with them would be absolutely like incredible. Um, yeah, I think also they'd just be like really lovely people as well. So yeah.
No, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, of course, you know, somebody you looked up to, and now you're like, okay, hey, I'm in a starring film with this, you know.
That would be, yeah, absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Now, of course, I mean, you went to school. I mean, when it came to acting, you've done courses, but are you still doing that? I mean, as an actor, are you kind of like, okay, you know what? Let me um, not so much refresh, but do you
Mhm.
still do classes, or do you still?
Mm. Yeah. So I don't do it. It's like a part time. You can do like acting. They have like drama schools online now. They started like doing it during like the height of COVID. So
Yes,
like some agencies started their own like acting agencies and like drama schools. So
right,
I've done a couple online, and then there's another one called I Am Pro. I have an account with them, and every now and then, if I don't have like any acting stuff coming up, or I've got a while to have a project, and I'm like in the middle of like preparing for a role, I will go on to these like online drama schools and like a little like refresh, and then also I feel like it reignites the spark to be like, "Oh, that's so cool! Like, I should incorporate that into my process." I think like it re-inspires you and really like makes you remember what you love about it.
right.
And obviously meeting like all these different actors as well. Sometimes you will meet up with them in person, and you do like little like showreel scenes. So that's also cool because you get like a free showreel scene too. And obviously, again, it's like networking as well once you've met up in
Oh
person.
yes,
So yeah, I still do them. It's not like all the time because
right.
obviously, like I am working on projects, but when I do have free time, I do like log on and have a little like session. So yeah.
No, I mean for sure. One of the things, on top of the podcast, I mean, I do cover a lot of events, and one of
Mm,
the things that I like is that a lot of the actors, of course, they're there to meet their fans, and
mm,
I'm media, so I get to sit down next to them and talk to them like throughout the
mm,
day, and I'm just like picking their brain, like,
yeah,
but it's like I'm like, okay, well, they're people, they're still,
yeah,
but they obviously, took received opportunities, they didn't take them for granted,
yeah. Mm,
if there's something that I guess as an actress, I'm pretty sure. I mean, even now, like you say, you're shooting, and then there's projects that you have coming up. But has anything
mm.
came up recently, or throughout, maybe when you first started, that you were like, okay, I can't do this because I'm doing this project?
Yeah. So when I first started, I kind of like because I didn't have much going on, so I'd audition for things, or I'd be sometimes from my showreel and stuff, I'd get offered roles without auditioning, and I felt like I was like taking like every opportunity because obviously I really like want to get into this industry and I want to network and really give it a go. Whereas now that I got like all these different projects, and then like over like the course of like this year, I have had some recently that I've had to say no to, and I never thought that I would say no to a project because obviously I just want to constantly work, but it is having that, time to be able to be well, to have your own personal time, which obviously you need to like chill out and like, and then also like prepare for roles as well. So like I've had to say a no to a few because I don't have the time to add more projects on because otherwise I'd be like honestly I'd be losing my mind. I mean, I haven't got loads, but I've got more than what I'd expected to ever have. And even now I'm a little bit like, okay, I've got to do this and you've got to plan all your time out to be like you need to work on this one, then you need to work on this one. So I feel like adding any more projects into the lineup right now would just be like chaotic. So yeah, there has been a couple that I've had to say no, and I feel really bad because I know the people who are asking me to do it, and like I've always said yes, and then you say no, and I feel like I'm being mean to them because they think that I don't want to work on their project.
Right.
So yeah, it is like because I never thought I'd get to the stage where I would say no.
Yeah.
So it feels weird, and I don't like doing it because I want to like work on as many things as possible, but it is impossible to work on everything like at the moment. So yeah.
No, no, yeah, especially, I mean, just having a lead role. I mean, of course, this is going to take up a lot more of your time than
Mm,
doing a
yeah.
short, or doing just small projects.
Mm,
Now, I mean, of course, acting is, it's what you're aiming for. I mean, of course, this is what you're doing. Um, you've done TV, you've done theater when it comes to, when you first started.
mhm.
But are you looking at more, like, say, years from now, are you looking at maybe getting into writing, into being a director? Are those like outlets for you later on in life?
Um, I've never really had an interest in directing or producing or writing. Um, it's always been acting. But I think as I go on, I feel like I might want to do some writing, but it's trying to like find what to like figure out what to write about, because I have tried to write some stuff because some people are like, "Oh, you should write about your life," because of some like previous like health issues and like everything. They're like, "Oh, you should write about your life and stuff, or like make a little short film based on like an aspect of your, as your childhood or something." But I just find writing like really difficult because I usually write in quite a formal, like, very structural, like not in a story kind of way.
Right,
So I find it quite hard to write a script and like how to like write, even though I've read loads of scripts and I know how they're done.
right.
Being a writer and changing the role is like I find it really difficult. Um, but yeah, possibly in the future I'd do some writing, but I think I'd have to talk to some writery friends to
Got
help.
it. No, you see, and a lot of times too, because I know there's ways, like, say if you were to write something, then you hire somebody to go ahead
Mm,
and rewrite it, and then just turn it. They do that the work, because yeah,
yeah,
it's. I
yeah,
would imagine, for me, it would be like a run-on sentence. I don't know. I wouldn't know when to stop. So
yeah, that's basically what I'm like. That is what I'm like. Yeah.
now, on top of acting,
Mhm.
what's life like behind the scenes, as far as, like, I mean, as far as sports? Do you do
Yeah.
anything else? Hobbies? What do you have
Um,
going
so when I was younger, I used to do, ballet, gymnastics, and swimming.
on? Okay.
I hated every single one of them. Absolutely hated them. But I do think ballet was the one I hated the most. But I do feel like ballet has helped me in regards to acting because obviously, like, discipline and being able to put it on your CV as well is obviously for casting directors. It's a really good thing, another skill to have. Um, as of right now, I don't really have any hobbies. I mean, I've got hip dysplasia, so my hip pops out, and I've got some other like health issues that I have to deal with. But yeah, the hip dysplasia has kind of put like all the sports on hold, which I'm kind of grateful for because I don't like sports, so it's difficult to do anything. But during COVID, I actually did weightlifting,
Okay.
um, and I was actually pretty good at it. But that's when I noticed that my hip was starting to have issues. So obviously, since then, I've had to stop the weightlifting. But yeah, I'm not really a massive fan of sports, so I'm not like really upset about it.
No, no loss there, right?
No, absolutely not. No.
Now, I mean, once again, when it comes to acting, for those, I mean, because yourself, you're still you're an up and comer. I mean, you're definitely going to be a name. I can see that. I've seen your, even like I said, even in the photos, and I'm thinking, man, like, they do tell a story. Like, I ended up putting this up, but
Mm,
I'm going to show you right quick.
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
this is
Mhm.
from the film itself.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the photos that you guys have been posting on the page. And
Mm,
a lot of them, I'm like, man, like, you know what, they're captivating. They kind of drag you in, and you want to know what's going on. So, when you
mhm.
guys were doing these shots, I mean, are these from the film, or were these separate shots?
So some of them, most of my shots are from while we're filming. We'll have a behind the scenes photographer. So as we're doing a scene, he'll be behind the actual, getting in places where he can't be seen by the camera, getting action shots. And then some of the other ones with like the masks and stuff, um, they have been when we're not filming. So they're basically promotional film shots
Yeah.
to get across the vibe of the film. So yeah.
You see, the reason I put that image up, I mean, there's a few of them out there that are on
Mm.
the page, but they're wearing that mask during that film, and did that kind of help with you? Like, you were talking about being shy earlier. Was that kind of like a little? Like, okay, they can't see me, so I mean, did it help out with the acting?
I mean, I haven't worn the mask.
Okay, okay.
Everyone else has worn the mask. But there was a day where no one else was on set, and I had to interact with a mask with
Oh,
no one wearing it. So that was a kind of difficult and a bit of a challenge. But yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I haven't worn the mask, and they look so cool. Um, Maybe I'll ask Jamie to add a little like blooper of me wearing a mask or something.
oh, yeah, a little behind the scenes, right? Get some
Yeah,
shots while you guys are out there. Now, I mean, earlier, I mean, you talked about as far as getting in character. I mean, of course, you read the script,
yeah,
you get in that mindset. But you said you felt comfortable doing these kinds of movies.
yeah.
If, say, a year from now, you know, the script comes out and it's total opposite, and it's
Yeah.
a big scene. I mean, is that something you're like, okay, you know what,
Mm.
you're gonna take it?
So yeah, as I said, most of the stuff that I do is like drama and horrors and stuff. But I do want to branch out into comedy, but comedy is also just as hard or harder than drama, like horror films, because obviously you have to get the comedic timing, and it's like a
Right.
whole other skill. But I do want to branch out into. I mean, I do have a couple of um projects. One of them's a TV series that's coming out,
Okay.
that is comedy. It's a drama comedy, and it's written by like com- eh, com- comedians,
Right. Right.
um, and all the actors as well as comedians, apart from myself. So going into that was like really daunting, because I was like, what if they like don't think I'm funny, and what if I don't play it how I'm meant to play it? But they were really lovely, and they actually really helped on set, because most of them like improvised the scene, which I'm not really used to improvising. I'm used to having a script and going in and
Oh,
filming.
okay, gotcha.
They had a script, but they kind of like scrapped the script a little bit. So it was like, we'll use parts of the script, but we'll just improvise it after that. And I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of just went with what they were going with, and it was really funny.
That's cool.
So comedy is something I do want to do, but I have been told it is quite hard. Um, so possibly in the future, when I've got a bit more like indie
Right.
comedy like projects under my belt, maybe that'll be something I'd go for like professionally, if you know what I mean, like big ones. But yeah,
No, that's cool. And I mean, I never thought about that, but yeah, because I mean, of course, in comedy or being a comedian, I mean, there's punchlines, you know. So if
yeah,
you say it and nobody laughs or nobody reacts, I can only imagine
yeah,
that
yeah,
that would make me even more shy. You know, I definitely want to go
yeah.
hide behind a rock or something.
I
But
know. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. And I was kind of bringing that up because I mean, a lot of times, and I say this because you know, when it comes, there was a reality show for pro wrestling right here years back when it
Mm,
first came out, and one of the wrestlers was like, he was like. They brought him in as a tough guy. He was like a big dude, and so they kind of like, hey,
mm.
you know, this is your role. And at the last minute, they're like, you know what, you're not gonna do this character. You're gonna do this character. He's a comedian. He was goofy. He was, and he couldn't do it. He was just like, oh,
Oh
that's not
yeah,
cool. And so he got
yeah.
booted out the show, you know. And I was
Oh
thinking like,
no.
that's kind of random, but I mean, you kind of have to be ready for that, you
Yeah,
know.
you do. Yeah, yeah. It is hard comedy, but yeah, I think it'll be a fun challenge.
No, no, for sure. And of course, I mean, you said you do have that project coming up. I mean, it's not going to be in Chicago, but it is going to be based
Mhm.
around,
Yeah,
you know, the Chicago area. But I mean, of course, I'm hoping. You know, who knows? I mean, in a
yeah,
year or two, maybe you'll be in Austin up the road working. You know,
yes,
there's a lot of stuff going on here, like I said. But I want to thank you. I mean, I know it is what is it, like 4 o'clock right now? It's what, 10 o'clock your time?
yeah. It is 8 minutes to 10. Yeah,
But I do appreciate you jumping on this. I wanted to plug this in. I was
yeah,
actually anxious to get you on here, and I'm hoping after you guys start shooting the film, I would love to get you back on here
yeah.
and
Sure.
talk about the project and see maybe we get a picture with you with the mask. You know, see if that happens.
Yeah.
We'll talk to Jamie and
No,
see
I
if we
have to
can
ask
get that.
Jamie.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. But Megan, I do appreciate you being on here. I wish you the best of luck. I hope to hear from you soon.
Yeah.
Don't hang up yet. Everybody out there, of course, once again, this is Spider Coming Soon podcast. Till next time.